So my name's Andrew. I'm a former civil servant, although I've worked in the private sector as well during my career, and indeed for the last, 8 years, 9 years now. Much of that with ICPS. A lot of my background involved work in strategy and policy, leadership in government and that sort of thing. So I've been a sort of pretty much every point of the policy spectrum, implementing it, helping design it, putting legislation through to make it happen. So a big background in that, actually doing it, but then also while I was in government, but very much so since I left government, actually helping people in the UK and overseas to develop strategy and policy. Well, people who are new to policy, obviously, but also people perhaps returning to policy work who haven't been in that policy environment for a number of years. Quite often it's people who've maybe worked in a niche policy area or sector, who want to broaden their perspective, but also, people who are pretty experienced, just looking to refresh their knowledge, see if there's anything up to date that they need to pick up on, and that sort of thing. We start off looking at the strategic context. People quite often sort of get a bit mixed up between strategy and policy and how do the two fit together. And the truth of the matter is, policies that do not fit within some sort of strategy are probably going to run into all sorts of trouble. And equally, strategy without policies to make that strategy happen normally ends pretty disastrously as well. So how those two things fit together. And then over the duration of the course, we take people effectively through the entire policy process, from conception to delivery, monitoring and evaluation. So that takes in analysis, using sound evidence, really important. And of course, these days, there was so much more evidence available to us through all sorts of different media. The policy creation process, how to select the best policy options, taking account of risks, consideration of delivery chains. It's no good having a policy if you can't work out how it's actually going to be delivered. To make sure that policies land and have the desired impact. And of course, all of that, the importance of stakeholder engagement and good communication at every stage is really vital. So that effectively is the structure of the course, the order of the course. And as we do that, we look at all sorts of examples and discuss those, and indeed explore the issues and challenges that the participants are dealing with in their worlds, and look at the most useful tools and techniques available for policymakers. Right, now depending on who they are, certainly I would hope reassurance, because a lot of people, as it were, pennies drop when they do the course. Right, yes, now I see. And a lot of people are doing lots of good things already, but hopefully, they're getting new ideas, new techniques, extra bits to fill in their understanding, to understand the whole policy process and how it all needs to be joined up. And above all, clarity about the building blocks of policy and the common pitfalls. And one of the things I always stress to people is, when we talk on the course, we are looking at best practice and the ideal way of doing it. And the reality is the world is not always that perfect. So what we sometimes have to do is perhaps sort of compromise a little bit. But what I want people to take away is, you can't always do it perfectly, but there are certain things that if you get right, then you're giving yourself a really good shot of getting that policy to work. Well, first of all, of course, getting that is assurance for the people coming on the course that this is something that's recognized, the content's recognized, and of course getting the membership that goes with that, and the letters that people can use, is giving the participants something that's very useful, because it gives them access to the Institute of Leadership and Management's website, podcasts, all sorts of useful information, big library of resources, and joining a community of over 50,000 people worldwide. And I can assure you that once you're a member of the Institute of Leadership and Management, you get regular updates, emails arriving, the opportunity to join in webinars, linking you to the latest research, all that sort of thing. So it's a really worthwhile element to this course.